So I share a lot of behind the scenes over on my Instagram, and one question that keeps coming up that I thought I just gotta make a quick video about this, explain what's going on, is what the heck is on top of your camera, Joni? Why do you have all these things in the hot shoe? Well, we're gonna get into that here today. What's shakin' bacon? I'm Joni Simon. Welcome to my studio. This is where I do food photography, and the goal here is to improve your food photography skills so you feel confident behind the camera. So yes, we're gonna dive on in, what's happening on top of my camera, why I need all these little parts and pieces. I mean, I don't need any of this stuff, right? But why these make my life easier and maybe give you some ideas for things that you can do. All right, I went ahead and took everything off. We're kind of back to the base layer here, and we have our hot shoe, which any DSLR or mirrorless camera should have a hot shoe that enables your camera to communicate with an external speed light or a trigger, which then fires your off-camera flash. And so that's what I'm doing in this case, but we build up multiple triggers, and here's why. So let's say, for example, we are shooting with our Godox lights, right? I've got my Godox AD600 Pro. So I've got my Godox X2T trigger. I can mount that into the hot shoe, and then that enables the camera to communicate with the lights. Groovy. Then why do I keep going? Well, then I have the Yongnuo, let's see, RF603N, because I'm shooting with Nikon, so it's the N, and I can mount that. There's a hot shoe that's on top of the Godox, and I mount that on top of that. We've got the leaning tower of triggers. So we mount that, and what this enables me to do is that these little triggers, they come in a set of two, there's two of them, and they come with these little sync cords. And so these sync cords, we can plug that in. They are specific to the camera that you're working with. So, you know, make sure to do the research of making sure when you buy these little guys that it's compatible, that you get the right sync cord for your camera. But then I go ahead and plug that into the sync port on the camera. Make sure that's on, make sure the trigger is on, make sure that this is on. And then what is really cool about these little guys is this then turns into my remote trigger, that I can hold down this button and it's firing. I've of course got my camera in that continuous shooting mode, so it's just firing off those shots. It's pretty nifty, right? So this is so that I don't have to have cords running around the studio, but it's also, I just love that it's a single button. It really simplifies things. I had some other remote shutters that were wired, which the wire was fine, but they were just like really clunky. To me, this is just so easy. One button, hold it down. And then if we want to get really wild and woolly, we bust out the spirit level, which we can just slide into that hot shoe, and then like the camera is taller than it is longer. Now, true confessions over here, I have more triggers than any human being should have as a result of just doing research and trying different gear and, you know, trying to get familiar as an educator of all the different lights that people might have. But there may be situations where your trigger doesn't have the hot shoe on it like this X-T2 one does, which I do think is really nice and convenient. But there are others, you know, for example, my Westcott, which controls the FJ400. This is cool because it is a universal, so this is not specific to just Nikon. This can work on my Canons, this can work on my Sonys. Pretty cool. In which case, instead, I just take the little Yongnuo trigger guy, put him in the hot shoe first, because he has a little hot shoe on him. Do that, turn that on, and then make sure we've got our other trigger and right back in business. And then of course, if I had my lights on and they were communicating with my trigger, then the lights would be going off while I was firing those shots. And we can just fire a single shot, or we can, again, rapid shooting mode. Now, if you're shooting natural light, obviously you don't need the additional trigger because we're not firing off any lights. You're just getting the light coming in from the window, but you can still absolutely use this little wireless setup in order to control your camera remotely, which is really cool. Now, if you have been looking at this video though and thinking about, you know, maybe this is the time to get into artificial lights and to learn strobes and flashes, more than welcome to join my Artificial Academy. I've got all the details on that linked down below. And so that's what all that stuff is. That's why I've got a leaning tower of triggers on my camera. Hopefully this has given you some fun ideas for stuff that you can do in your food photography. I'll certainly link all the gear down below. But with that, I hope you stay out of trouble. I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.